Our planet, Earth, is incredibly old. Imagine a clock ticking for billions of years. That's how long Earth has existed, roughly 4.5 billion years. About 3.5 billion years ago, the first signs of life appeared. These weren't animals or plants as we know them. They were tiny, single-celled organisms, much simpler even than the bacteria we know today. But they were alive, and they were the starting point for every living thing on Earth. These early life forms were incredibly successful. They multiplied and spread throughout the young oceans. Most importantly, they carried within them the blueprint for life DNA. Over immense stretches of time, life on Earth began to change. From these simple, single-celled ancestors, a breathtaking diversity of life forms would eventually evolve. Evolution is the process by which life on Earth has changed over millions of years. It's like a slow, gradual process of sculpting, where the sculptor is nature itself. But how does this sculpting happen? The answer lies in two key ingredients: variation and selection. Imagine a population of animals, any kind will do. You'll notice that they are not all exactly the same. Some might be slightly bigger, others faster, and still others might have a slightly different color. These differences, arising from changes in their DNA, are called variations. Not all variations are equal when it comes to survival. Some variations might give an individual an advantage in their environment. This process, where individuals with advantageous traits are more likely to survive and reproduce, is called natural selection. Let's look at a simple example to understand natural selection beetles. Imagine a population of beetles living on a tree with dark bark. Most of the beetles are green, but a few are born with a mutation that makes them brown. The green beetles are easy for birds to spot against the dark bark, making them an easy meal. The brown beetles, on the other hand, are well camouflaged. Because the brown beetles are better camouflaged, they are more likely to survive and reproduce. Over many generations, the number of brown beetles in the population increases, while the number of green beetles decreases. This is natural selection in action. One argument against evolution is the idea of irreducible complexity. This argument claims that some biological structures, like the human eye, are too complex to have evolved through a series of small changes. However, this argument ignores the power of gradual change over vast stretches of time. The evolution of the eye didn't happen overnight. The first step might have been a simple patch of light-sensitive cells. This wouldn't provide vision like we know it, but could detect light and shadow, giving the organism an edge in finding food or avoiding predators. Over time, this patch could have become indented, allowing for a better sense of light direction. This step-by-step process, driven by natural selection, ultimately led to the complex and sophisticated eyes we see today. Evolution doesn't happen at a constant rate for all species. Some species might remain relatively unchanged for millions of years, while others can evolve rapidly in response to environmental changes. Large, complex organisms like elephants and whales tend to evolve slowly. On the other hand, organisms with short lifespans and rapid reproduction rates like bacteria and insects can evolve much faster. This allows them to quickly adapt to changes in their environment. One of the most striking examples of rapid evolution is the rise of antibiotic resistance in bacteria. Antibiotics are drugs that kill bacteria, and they have been incredibly successful in treating bacterial infections. However, their overuse and misuse have inadvertently driven the evolution of antibiotic-resistant bacteria. When antibiotics are used, they kill most of the bacteria causing an infection. However, some bacteria might possess mutations that make them resistant to the antibiotic. Over time, the antibiotic-resistant bacteria become more common, rendering the antibiotic ineffective. Evolution is not something that happened only in the distant past. It's an ongoing process that continues to shape life on Earth, including our own species. Humans are still evolving, although the changes are often subtle and occur over long periods. For example, evidence suggests that humans are evolving to digest milk into adulthood, a trait that was not common in our ancestors. Evolution is a fascinating and complex process that has shaped the incredible diversity of life on Earth. Understanding evolution is crucial for comprehending our place in the natural world and addressing challenges like antibiotic resistance and conservation.